So today we will continue on talking about parallel and perpendicular lines after this warm-up, where we will be reminded of how to solve for y. Now we did this on the warm-up on Friday, so you should be pro at this.
Yeah.
So let's see. And by the way, the hint is still on the board, so just follow the hint. If I'm solving for y, what do I need to do first if it's in standard form like this? Move that x. Okay, we need to take the negative 6x to quote-unquote move it to the other side. We need to do the inverse operation, the opposite. What are we going to do? Okay, good. We're going to add 6x to both sides. Let's go with blue here because Dim Cowboys won. By the way, did you know you can't spell lions without an L? And you can't spell cowboys without a W? All right, so to get rid of the negative 6, we add 6x. Add 6x.
Them lions took that L.
True. Now, these cancel out. 9 plus 6x. Now, in other classes, I still have people putting 15 or 15x. Wrong. Please remember, I like to write this little arrow to remind myself, but it goes in front. The 6x goes in front of the 9 because, aren't we familiar with seeing it as mx plus b, right? So let's write that. What do I bring down? 3y equal sign 6x plus 9. Is everyone able to do that first step where you move over the x by doing the opposite and then you put it in the right place?
Oh, nice.
Now, last step, what do? We get rid of the coefficient by dividing. So we are going to divide everything by 3. These cancel. Y equals, what's 6 over 3?
Knowledge.
2x. And then 9 divided by 3 is 3. So, 2x plus 3. So we get on number 2. What do we do first? Same thing. Solve for y. We move the x. Now the x this time is a positive term. How do we get rid of it? Subtraction. So minus 5x on both sides. And remember, put the negative 5x in front of the negative 8. Here's something some people mess up on. What do I bring down right here?
The negative.
Okay, so the negative 2y. Don't forget the negative or it will be wrong. Okay, so negative 2y minus 5 equals negative 5x minus 8. Now, what do I do next? What do I do next? Okay, good. So, negative 2y, some people think you should add, but we know since negative 2 is a coefficient, I'm going to divide by the same exact thing. So I divide by what? Negative 2. So again, divide everything by negative 2. Negative 2's cancel out. Y equals. Now, negative 5 over negative 2, what does that reduce to?
That reduces to, like, yeah.
Okay, so the negative over negative is a positive, and 5 over 2 is what I'm looking for. Please remember, we need fractions for rise over run. We don't want decimals.
I like decimals better.
Wrong. So negative 8 divided by negative 2 is? That is also incorrect.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Correct.
plus 4. Alright, so, that'll make me sick. Like literally, physically.
The world equals the rings of Saturn.
Alright, so number 3 on the warm-up is asking us to pick two angles that are corresponding. Now, the reason why this is on the warm-up is because this is the one most people mess up on. So is everyone looking up here? Wide awake? With our heads up? Wide awake? So, corresponding, is that the one that has 2 in, 2 out, or 1 in, 1 out? Okay, so corresponding is the weird one where you have 1 in and 1 out. They're on the same side of the transversal and they are in the same position. So I'll give you an example. If I start with angle 5, what is corresponding to angle 5? Angle 1. Does everyone see that 5 and 1 are one's in, one's out on the same side of the transversal, and they're both in the top left of the intersection. Okay? What's another example? I'll just put this here, 1 and 5.
Yeah, I put 2 and 6.
Okay. You could have picked 2 and 6. That's cool. 4 and 8. That works too. What else? And then 3 and 7 could have worked as well. So there's 4 different options for corresponding angles. You got to know what they are. We can't forget these angle pair relationships. All right, so you ready for the notes to finish them from last time, hopefully. If you remember what they look like, they had Snoop Dogg on it. Looks like this. There it is. So remember this Snoop Dogg? So we are on the back side of this page. If you can go ahead and turn to that, please.
That's because my Wi-Fi's like
All right, here we go.
I got that one.
Okay, here we go. On the second page, we are going to continue talking about perpendicular. So here we go. Where is it? Okay, here we go. All right, everyone's focusing up here, please, and we should not have headphones in our ears because we are focused. All right, does everyone have this written down from yesterday? Let's remind, or y'all can help remind me to help remind each other. What do we know about parallel lines equations?
They never intersect.
That's not the answer to the question I asked. So what do we know about parallel lines equations? Slope and y-intercept. What do we know about the... Slope is a fraction usually as rise over run. So my question was for parallel lines, what happens to the slope? Does it change or not? Class. Parallel. Okay, parallel, slope stays the same. So, parallel stays the same. What about the y-intercept? The y-intercept will change to something else, okay? That was the front side of the notes. Now we're on the back, right? And we're talking about perpendicular, okay? 4 perpendicular lines. So, the 2 changes we have for perpendicular lines are to flip the slope and to change the sign. So we already did this one, but as a reminder, negative 3 over 4 turned into positive 4 over 3 because there are two changes to every perpendicular slope. So if you only do one, it will be wrong, unfortunately. So please remember, you change the sign and you flip the fraction. So we're going to use that information on the second one here. So let's graph this. Can we graph it the way it is right now?
No.
Okay. What form does it need to be in to graph? It needs to be y equals mx plus b, which is slope-intercept form, right? So as you can see, this does have y equals in it, but the negative 3x is on the left side. It cannot be there. So we are going to need to solve this. Can everybody rewrite it up here so we have enough room? All right. And this is going to be just like our warm-up. So let's solve for y. What do I need to do first? Okay, the negative 3x needs to go to the other side, so we do the opposite. We add 3x, and we're going to put this in front of the negative 4. The x's cancel out, and now I have y equals 3x minus 4. All right? Did y'all see how we did that? Real quick, usually our slope is in rise over run format. Usually it's a fraction. This slope is just a whole number, 3. So how do I turn 3 into a fraction? 3 over 1. Okay. So if it helps you, that'd be a nice thing to write underneath it. 3 over 1. So let's go ahead and graph that. Now, when I have mx plus b, what do I graph first? The m or the b? The b for beginning. Okay, so the beginning is negative 4 on the y-axis. So let's put a point there. So on the y-axis vertically, negative 4, put my point. And then my slope is 3 over 1. So if I'm going to rise over run, if I rise 3, which direction is that? Up, and then I run 1, which is to the right. So again, always running to the right. You're going to rise either up or down depending on the sign. Okay. So rise 3, run 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 over 1. All right, and y'all can use your straight edges to make a nice line. Mine will be not so nice because I'm doing this by hand. All right, so that was our original equation. What we need to do now is write a perpendicular equation. So let's take what we know. The slope of our original equation right here is 3 over 1. What is perpendicular to 3 over 1? So 3 over 1 is positive.
Negative 1 over 3.
Okay, so positive is going to become negative, and the 3 over 1 is going to become 1 over 3. From 3 over 1 to negative 1 over 3. Does everybody see how you get a perpendicular slope? You have to change two things, the sign and the fraction. Okay? Everyone awake and with me? So let's write this equation. Y equals, and then the new slope, negative 1 over 3, x. Negative 1/3 x. Now, what about the y-intercept? Does that change? It can stay the same. It can change. So if it can stay the same, we'll keep it simple. We'll just leave it as negative 4. If you had a different number there, that would still be correct. Okay, so that means I'm going to start at M or B. What do I plot first? B for beginning. So the B is at negative 4. Put a point there. Now, this time, my slope is negative 1/3. So which way do I rise? Down 1, and then I run 3 which way? to the right. So down 1, right 3, boom. And go ahead and draw your perfectly straight line using your straight edge, and I will make a attempted straight line with my freehand. Alright, so after doing that, you should have two lines that are perpendicular at right angles, okay? Did you get something that is similar but better than that because you use the straight edge? I see, for the most part, yeah. Just want to make sure you do the second line. Alright, let's try the next one. Again, same process. It needs to be in what form? What form does it need to be in? Slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. It is not y equals right now, so we have a step to do. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to rewrite this over here. 6y equals 5x. And then how do I get rid of this 6? Divide. So I didn't have to move the x, but I did need to divide. Now this leaves me with y equals 5 over 6x, and there's no b. What does that mean b is if there's no b? 0, okay? So nothing is 0. You don't have to write it. If you did, it wouldn't technically be wrong. So if you need a reminder that you're starting at 0, put it, okay? Let's graph this. What do I graph first, M or B? B for beginning. At what? 0. What do you call 0, 0?
Origins.
The origin. So, we are going to, please have a seat. Let's graph, and our rise over run is 5 over 6. Which direction is that going? Up and to the right. So rise 5, up, run 6, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then make your super straight line, go through it. Does everyone have that graphed? So, let's write a perpendicular slope. Perpendicular slope, again, is opposite reciprocal. So if I have 5 over 6, it's the last folder with the Snoopy on it. And it says notes from 9/28. So, perpendicular slope to positive 5 over 6 is going to be what? Positive becomes? Negative. 5 over 6 becomes 6 over 5. Please, every time you see the word perpendicular, you're definitely going to have to do those two changes, okay? Let's write that equation. Y equals what? New slope. Negative 6 over 5. X, and my y-intercept can be the same or change. We'll just leave it like that, okay? So, let's graph this. I'm going to put a point at my B for beginning at 0 because there's no y-intercept. Okay? Now, negative 6 over 5. Which direction does that go? Down 6, right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Use your straight edge to make a straight line. That's not like that. Let's try again. Look at that. And it should make a right angle. Yours should look really nice because you have a straight edge, okay? So, recap. Front of the page, we did parallel. Same slope, different y-intercept. We just finished the back of the front page, which was perpendicular, which means the slope is opposite reciprocal. You change the sign and you flip it. And the y-intercept can stay the same or change. Now let's talk about slope using slope formula. Yay, here we are. Do y'all remember that slope formula that's on the board right now? Looks like this on the wall. Basically, we know slope is rise over run. And how do you rise? On the y-axis, you subtract your two y values to get your change in y, and you subtract your two x values to get your change in x. So that's your formula that you should have seen before in your lifetime. If not, or if you forgot, we are doing it now. So let's do that. In these 2 points, my question to you is, which one of these numbers is y2? What do you think? 4. It's the y value of the second point. So y2 minus y1. So this is how we subtract. 4 minus 0 on top of a fraction. What's x2 going to be? 3 minus 2. Okay? You got to be consistent when you subtract. Same order. Okay? So 4 minus 0 on top. Now, you could do this in your calculator in one step. If you do it in your calculator, you definitely want to use either parentheses or control divide to make it into a fraction. Because if you just type it without any parentheses, without making it a fraction, it will probably give you the wrong answer, just saying. But we can do this mentally, because we know 4 minus 0 on top is what? 4. 3 minus 2 on the bottom is? 1. Find the slope. We did it. 4 over 1. Yay. You could have written just 4. That's fine too. Okay? Any questions with the first one? Second one, find the slope, again, of this time it says parallel, a line parallel to this line with these points. Okay? So, first let's find this slope. What is y2 of these points? -3 minus, what's the y1? -5. Now I know that kind of looks ugly, but you are subtracting a negative. On the bottom, what's my x2?
X2 is
2 minus my x1 is 8. So all I got to do is do this. So let's do some math. Again, if you type it in your calculator, make sure you parenthesize the top and the bottom. I don't know if that's a word, but I made it up. If I did. All right, -3 minus a -5. That's like -3 plus 5. What do we get? 2 over 2 minus 8 is -6. Again, you can do this in your calculator if it's not your strongest point mentally. 2 divided by -6 reduces to what? So that negative stays out here. 2 over 6 reduces to what? 1 over 3. Now, -1 over 3, if I want parallel slope, does that mean it's the same or it changes? Does parallel stay the same or change? Stays the same. Parallel stays the same. So this is actually going to be the same answer as parallel, so that's it. So you did not need to change that slope for parallel, okay? Are y'all actually getting this? And not just being goofy. Okay, on the next one, find the slope of a line perpendicular to this line. So we are going to, again, find the slope. So what's y2? What am I going to put on top? y2 minus y1. What's it going to be? -3 minus 9 over Negative 7 minus 1. Very good. On top, negative 3 minus 9 is?
Oh, that's 6.
Negative 12. And on the bottom, negative 7 minus 1 is? Negative 8. Negative divided by negative is a positive, and then 12 over 8 reduces to what? 3 over 2. So, class, 3 over 2, if I want a perpendicular slope, is 3 over 2 my answer or not? Okay, I need to actually change this in 2 ways. What 2 ways does it change for perpendicular? Okay, positive fraction becomes negative, and then 3 over 2, 2 over 3. That is the perpendicular slope, starting with this one, okay? Do you see you had a couple steps there? You had to take the points, get the slope, and then make the 2 changes to find the perpendicular slope. Okay, 2 more on this page, on these notes. So given a slope of negative 1/2 and a y-intercept of 4, what is the equation of the line? Now, can you, if you're given a slope and a y-intercept, can you write an equation of a line? I hear yes. What are you going to do to get that equation? All right, good. So y equals mx plus b is called slope-intercept form. When you're given a slope and an intercept, you're going to use slope-intercept form. Okay? So that means we're going to have it in this mx plus b form. Slope is m. Y-intercept is b. So let's write an equation. Y equals, what is my m? Negative 1/2 x plus, what's my b? Plus 4. Now, right here, we did this part. So far, so good. Keep reading. What is the equation of the line parallel? How do I write a parallel equation? Keep the slope, change the y-intercept. Very good. So I'm going to write y equals what?
Y equals negative 1 over half x.
Negative 1 over 2x. And then plus 4 needs to change to something else.
Plus 5.
Plus 6.
How dare you?
So do you see how this and this are different? That's how I know that they are parallel. Same slope, different y-intercept. Okay? Now, next one, no. Next one, after this. Next one says slope of negative 2/3, y-intercept of 5. Slope-intercept, what should I use?
That.
Slope-intercept. So let's write that. Y equals what? What's my slope? Negative 2 over 3x. And then what? Plus 5. That is my original equation. And then what do I do to get a, let's read it. We did this. What is the equation of the perpendicular line? Perpendicular means what? About the slope. Same or double change? Okay, we are going to change this slope 2 different ways. So, okay, so y equals, and my slope is going to be, instead of negative, it's going to be positive. Instead of 2 over 3, it's going to be positive 3 over 2 x. And then the y-intercept can stay the same or change, but let's keep it the same just for, just to do it. So remember, this is called the opposite reciprocal. Flip and change the sign. Okay? Now, that information will be used on the next 2 pages. You're not going to separate any of this. You're going to keep it all together. But on the next 2 pages, you're going to basically do what we did on the first 2 pages. You're going to graph and then graph a parallel or perpendicular line based on what it says. So we will have more time tomorrow to finish it up if you don't finish today.